Bring a child into a life that's already meaningful, rather than expecting that child to create meaning in your life. Y'all, I was in a class with my mentor, teacher, Kabbalah scholar, Rabbi Manis Friedman today. Y'all can find him at itsgoodtoknow.org. And you can actually sign up to join these weekly group coaching calls with him. They're intimate and beautiful. And if you like anything about Judaism or Jewish mysticism and personal development, it's just an amazing space to be in. And there's a really powerful question asked by someone today, and I thought that it might be really relevant to my audience as well. So I wanted to share it with you all and just kind of give some outtakes from that discussion, as it really touched me, as I don't have kids yet. And I really think often about, what is it my job right now, preparing and thinking about relationships, or becoming a parent, and then for parents who already have kids, this question just really struck out to me. So the individual wanted to know how they could give the gift of a life, a meaningful life, to their children. And how do you even know what a meaningful life is and ensure that they gave that gift to their kids? And this is the part that I really want you to focus on in this discussion. It really is such a gift. And this is kind of how it unfolded. So if you have kids, if you are wondering how to create life full of purpose and passion and wonder and excitement for your children, definitely something that I'm working on right now. And because I'm single, even if you don't have kids, but this topic is interesting to you, stick around. This is really, really cool stuff and deep insights from the Kabbalah. So basically, what the rabbi taught us is, first we have to back up, right? And look at and understand the idea and what it means to have a meaningful life. And oftentimes we associate meaning with all of the things, right? All of our accomplishments, the legacy we're going to leave, our social status, how many cars are in the garage. I have a meaningful life because I have a nice house and I can travel and I can go on vacation. And many of times we feel like we're chasing something, or we're pursuing something, or we need to get another thing or create another accomplishment in order to say that we've lived a life of meaning. And because of this idea, because of the paradigm, we also think it's the same thing that we responsibly have to do for our children, right? And we can see this in asking our kids to participate in, certain extracurricular activities since a very young age. Like, my mom had to do piano lessons, and she told me how she hated them for so long. But it was that's what meaningful life meant to my grandparents, right? She was a classically trained musician and an engineer, and and we have these standards that we believe that a certain education or certain status is going to create meaning in our lives. And what Rabbi Friedman pointed out today in our conversation is that deciding to have a meaningful life is as simple as that. It is not associated with any of the things, any of the stature, any of the little things we can grasp in our life, but it's actually just that, a simple decision to believe that your life has meaning. Simply because you were born, because you're alive, you are important, you are enough, and you are meaningful. And therefore, the impetus becomes so different, right? The energetic pull to take action in our feelings, in our emotional bodies, comes from the place of feeling meaningful, feeling empowered. And therefore, we want to take action and naturally do the next level of what makes us really feel like we have a meaningful life, which is give that same feeling to others. to show others that we also can be of service and to give back to others in our life. And the rabbi really broke this down in an even more Kabbalistic concept. And I want to bridge the gap here with a little bit of coaching as well, because sometimes the Kabbalah and coaching have such an amazing intersection. So I'm going to break this down in two ways. If we think about that decision and just deciding that we are meaningful and we're going to create meaning in our lives, first and foremost, what naturally happens is an emotional reaction, a response in our body, right? So if we're wondering if meaning is outside of ourselves, if it's coming from somewhere else, if it's in the cars, if it's in the house, if it's in the relationship or the job or the legacy or the accomplishments, we'll never feel internally satisfied and satiated and appreciated and loved and enjoyed and adored just because we are. Whereas if we choose to believe that about ourselves to begin with, then even when life is tough and none of those exterior circumstances make sense or are actually creating the physical needs that we try to meet on a day-to-day, we still believe that we have meaning. And so internally in our feelings and our emotional states, we can still cultivate love and joy and prosperity within ourselves. And when we feel that way, rather than feeling like we need to catch up or we have something else to do or we're not good enough or unworthy, we're much more likely to figure out a way, right? Even if things are tough, and try to reach out to people and ask for help and create connections and form bonds and relationships that might even help us out in tough situations. And if we're not in tough situations, if we're feeling like our life is full of meaning, we're going to excel 10x, right? This is what I help my clients with. Like, as soon as we decide that we're worthy, we're enough, we mean something, that decision creates a physiological response in our bodies that drives us into an action that not only makes us create and have purpose in our own lives and foster and nurture creativity and curiosity, mixing words over here, get excited about this topic, we also start wanting to give that gift to others. We want to share it with other people because it feels so good, like me right now getting excited, right? And so in the Kabbalah, and this is going to get a little deep, y'all, but in the Kabbalah, our bodies are broken down into energetic emotional centers, and there are 3 faculties that are intellectual faculties, and then the rest are emotional faculties. And in today's class, Rabbi Friedman said, it was a cute little quote. He said, "The heart is the baby. The mind knows. What does it have to say?" And this is the same concept that I reveal and go through with my clients in coaching, right? Our hearts, or Kabbalistically speaking, represented by the emotional faculties, our emotions, are our own inner child, the part of us, the inner child within us. If you just look at your emotions, that's still like 5 years old, right? Our emotions are not near the capacity of maybe what we're able to accomplish and think of with our brains. So many of the things that we do emotionally is still so impulsive. And sometimes we don't even have awareness of our own emotional bodies. And our own emotional states are what drive us into action. And so just like a young child, right, that you would want to create a meaningful, deep, nurturing, beautiful life experience for, take and imagine your emotions just like that child. And this is what the Kabbalah teaches that the power of the mind has to do, and coaching teaches that the mind now becomes the captain of this ship, yourself, the body, the experience that you're living. And in this project, in this life, in this experience, right? Our job is to treat our emotions with meaning, with purpose, and see every single time that our emotions are stirred up, witness them as if we're witnessing our own child before us that we care for and love and adore. And when it's hungry and cries out for food or a hug or scraped its knee and has a boo-boo, how would you treat that child? And then on the other hand, we have to look at our emotions like the same child that does not yet know the dangers of crossing the street because the ice cream truck is across the way, or the, dangers of touching a hot fire because it's shiny. It's still not completely mature, this system, not to its full capacity, our emotional system. And so our mind is what gives us the power to have awareness, to witness, to be conscious participants within our own emotional body. And what the Kabbalah teaches is that basically, when we start looking at these emotional centers within ourselves and start nurturing the emotions and understanding them and cultivating and empowering ourselves to use them rather than have them use us, we start creating a life of meaning. And this is what Rabbi Friedman said was the ultimate answer to the gentleman's question about what does it take to gift, right? It's a gift. The gift of meaningful life to our children. So on a spiritual level, it's a gift that we give to ourselves. A mental gift to have compassion and awareness and love and joy for ourselves and treat ourselves sometimes like we would want to treat that child, right? And soothe when necessary and create discipline and structure for when necessary, but in a loving, kind, compassionate, caring way, the way we'd want to be tended to. And in that experience, that's our only job. Because when we do that, we create a life of meaning, and we naturally, as the byproduct of that decision, meet our soul needs and start having the ability to recalibrate ourselves emotionally, to give back more often, to create change, to work on our passion projects, to be present with our families and do the things that we truly want to do. We already know what it means to living a meaningful life. We just have never known how to get there. And so we do it by force. We try to focus on all the house and all the objectives and all the, the house and the job and the skills and the education and the legacy, when the only work to be done is going within. And when we're able to really integrate our own emotional body and satisfy our own soul needs, practically, we become the example of a meaningful life to our children. And not just to our children, we basically become an example of a meaningful life to anyone and everyone that comes in contact with us, right? Naturally, even when the going gets tough, we're ready to go. And we're ready to play, and we're ready to play full out. And we show up that way for our kids. And by doing so, it becomes an invitation to show our kids what a meaningful life looks like when we are living it, when we're being our best, our highest selves. And in doing so, not only do we not program them with all the distractions of what we think should be a meaningful life, but we really guide them and invite them to make that choice for themselves, to decide for themselves that they're worthy of creating their own meaningful lives. And how much deeper and more resonant and more profound is that decision going to be for that child for the rest of their lives when they choose, because of your example, to follow in your lead, but for themselves, rather than being pushed into something or told how to be, what to do. So I thought that was really deep and I wanted to share it with you. And if you like this whole Kabbalah and coaching intersection, please send me a DM, comment below. I'm trying to see different projects that I have potential to work on and more videos I really want to record from a Kabbalistic personal development viewpoint and that intersection with Jewish mysticism as well as life coaching. I think it could be really powerful, really great for a lot of communities. So I hope y'all have a beautiful day and toodaloos.